To help put into perspective just how much of a defensive impact Gary Payton made as soon as he came into the NBA in 1990, here's quite a powerful stat. In 1989-90, which was the season before the Sonics selected Payton second overall in the draft, Seattle, with Bernie Bickerstaff as head coach, ranked 15th in steals and 13th in opponent turnovers. In Payton's rookie campaign, now with Casey Jones as the head coach, the Sonics were second in steals and 4th in opponent turnovers. Then in every season from 1992 through 1997, under head coach George Karl, Seattle ranked number 1 in steals. They were first in opponent turnovers 4 of those years and second the other year. Arguably, no point guard in NBA history had better instincts and anticipation on and off the ball than Payton, nicknamed the Glove for his unrelenting defensive pressure on opponents. The way he hounded ball handlers up the court and forecasted their movements was extraordinary. Then on top of that, his quick reactions to passes led to countless deflections and interceptions. He just had a knack for being in the right place at the right time and telegraphing passes. Seattle throughout the 90s was probably the best at trapping and blitzing opponents, which led to a lot of opponent turnovers. Here are some examples. It was hard for opponents to score in transition against Seattle in that era because Payton was like a free safety in football where he would track down outlet passes and get his hands on them. As you can see from these clips, he was always so locked in defensively and made opponents uncomfortable as they handled the ball or surveyed the floor. Surprisingly, Payton led the league in steals just once, which was in 1995-96 when he won the Defensive Player of the Year award and led Seattle to the NBA Finals. He's 5th on the all-time steals list though, with 2,445 of them. Only John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, and Michael Jordan racked up more steals in their careers. Something else he excelled at defensively was denying entry passes into the post. He had incredible lower body strength and would get really low and plant himself in front of opponents if he was the post defender, or he would use those quick hands and reflexes to deflect the entry pass and sometimes steal it away. He'd also get a lot of steals when Seattle would send a double team to the post, with Payton being that help defender. There were possessions like the one shown here where he just had his eye on the ball and would roam the floor and make a big defensive play. Every year from 1993-94 through 1999-2000, he finished in the top 6 in Defensive Player of the Year voting, winning it in 1996 and finishing second each of the following 2 seasons behind Dikembe Mutombo. As you'd expect, Payton turned a lot of his steals into easy transition points. Seattle was among the leaders in fast break points throughout the 90s. The NBA started tracking fast break points in 1996. In the 1996-97 season, Payton accumulated the most fast break points in the league. It's very likely he did the same at least 1 or 2 years before then. He was 4th in 97-98 and 5th each of the next 2 seasons. The thing about Payton was that he was way more skilled offensively than many realize. There wasn't necessarily anything he was the best at, but he had a little bit of everything in his offensive package. For one, he was very good playing out of the post, using his blend of craftiness and toughness to score with his back to the basket. He had very good footwork and did a great job getting defenders to bite on his shot fakes. You'd see him take a fair number of floaters out of the post as well. He never shied away from contact, and that showed when he went full force toward the basket. He was one of the better guards at initiating contact and scoring with the foul, with many of them coming in transition. He'd draw contact and make the basket out of the post quite a bit as well. N1 started getting tracked in 1996. He had 38 of them that season. He had 40 of them in 2002-03, which was the year he was traded from Seattle to Milwaukee in the deal that sent Ray Allen to the Sonics. Now, his jump shooting was erratic. As an example, in 96-97, he shot 47% on jump shots from 10 to 15 feet out. The very next season, 97-98, from that same range, he shot 27%. Especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, you'd see him sometimes work into a post-up and then quickly turn and spin for a slight fadeaway jumper. Here are examples. He was never a great three-point shooter, but one of the more interesting things about his career was that in the 1999-2000 season, with Paul Westphal as Seattle's head coach, he led the league in both takes and makes from three-point distance. He took a league most 520 of them and made 177 of those tries. In no other season did Payton ever take over 400 of them, and he only took more than 300 threes in 3 of his 17 NBA seasons. His best percentage from long range was 37.5% in 2001, but in no other year did he shoot above 35%. He took a lot of threes in transition, which isn't a surprise with how frequently Seattle would force opponents into turnovers. In 5 of his 17 NBA seasons, he averaged over 20 points and 8 assists. He's one of only 10 players in league history to do it that many times. He led the league in total assists in 99-2000 and was top 5 in this category 5 times. He and Shawn Kemp had excellent chemistry. We saw dozens and dozens of Payton to Kemp alley-oops throughout the 90s before Kemp was traded to Cleveland in 1997. His highest assist game came later in his career when he had 18 of them on November 5th, 2002 against the Rockets. After 12 and a half seasons with the Sonics, Payton was traded to the Bucks in the middle of the 02-03 season. He wasn't in Milwaukee long, however, as he signed with the Lakers that following summer, then played a year with the Celtics and 2 with the Heat before retiring. He was part of Miami's 2006 championship team. All in all, he was a 9-time NBA All-Star, finished top 6 in MVP voting 6 times, including in 97-98 when he came in 3rd. He made the All-NBA first team twice, the second team 5 times, and the third team twice. He also made the All-Defensive first team 9 times. Payton won the gold medal twice in the Olympics, in 1996 in Atlanta and 2000 in Sydney. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe.